Hello, and welcome to the Landlord Law Firm's Landlord News. I'm Robert Chesson. In this September edition of our Landlord News, smoking ban backlashes from tenant advocates, occupancy standard challenges from around the country, and our updated legislative action from the Connecticut Apartment Association. First, smoking bans. As many of you have started to implement smoking bans on your properties, or at least investigated the possibility of bringing non-smoking policies to your properties, we're starting to see a backlash from tenant and homeless advocates against those properties who are actually implementing these programs. These tenant advocacy groups take the position that people who cannot break the habit of smoking are forced to possibly become homeless if they suffer lease violation evictions or other consequences for failing to comply with your smoking bans. HUD, who supports the idea of smoke-free communities, has countered with the expectation that people who wish to continue to smoke can certainly still do so off the premises. Both sides tend to agree that one of the expectations, or one of the desires at least, of a smoke-free community policy is the opportunity to provide counseling and assistance for those who need or wish to quit the smoking habit. As you continue to develop your smoke-free policies around your communities, please make sure you reach out to your landlord attorney so you can discuss current trends and the various responses to this growing expectation around the country. In our next story, the National Apartment Association reports that a number of its members are facing litigation as a result of implementing the Keating Memo to apply their occupancy standards. For those of you unfamiliar with the Keating Memo, HUD some time ago issued the Keating Memo indicating that it believed 2 persons per bedroom was a reasonable occupancy standard. However, that standard has often been challenged, and the courts have ultimately ruled that while it may be a place to start, it is a rebuttable presumption that 2 people per bedroom is an appropriate occupancy standard. Tenant advocacy groups are now challenging that Keating Memo again in various litigation where they're claiming that a 2-person per bedroom occupancy standard is actually discrimination on the basis of familial status. They are claiming that the 2-person per bedroom Keating Memo standard, although intended to be non-discriminatory, actually has the impact of an adverse situation for people with children or people with larger families. Probably about 5 or 6 years ago, Connecticut saw quite a lot of testing going on around occupancy standards, and we can anticipate that this new outbreak of challenges across the country is something we may face again here in Connecticut. In response to these challenges, the National Apartment Association has had a white paper prepared dealing with familial status discrimination and occupancy standards. Please take a look at that if you get a chance. Otherwise, please take a moment to sit down with your landlord attorney and discuss the occupancy standards that you implement and the various aspects of the law, local ordinances, and state regulations that might impact the standards that you've implemented. And lastly, on a more local note, the Connecticut Apartment Association Government Relations Committee has kicked off its campaign for the 2016-2017 season. We invite anybody who'd be interested in joining us for that. Please reach out to me here at the Landlord Law Firm. I'll be happy to give you the information necessary to participate in that program. One of the things we've been working on this season is a program review and investigation being conducted up in Hartford around the CHRO discrimination complaint process. As part of that process, there's going to be a public hearing on Wednesday, September 21st at 10 o'clock at the Legislative Office Building in Hartford. We invite all of you to join us for that hearing on the 21st, if you would be available. Also, if you'd like to submit testimony or present testimony in the hearing, please reach out to me as well, and we'll see about getting you on the agenda for presentation to the committee. This CHRO review is one of the many things that we worked on last year and will lead into a wonderful 2016-2017 legislative session for the CTAA Government Relations Committee. We invite you to join us if you'd be interested. Thank you for joining us for this September edition of the Landlord Law Firm's Landlord Advocate News. We look forward to seeing you next month.